Today's topic of discussion is retail banking. First of all, we need to know what is retail banking. The banks which earn profit is known as retail banking. It is also called consumer banking. So, which kind of services is provided? Like savings and transactional account, mortgages, personal loans, debit card and credit cards. For your better understanding, the banks which comes under retail banking are given below. Just have a look. So now we will discuss about the functions of retail banking. First one is give credit. Banks offer credit to their clients for purchasing. It also includes mortgages and loans. By doing this, banks will increase liquidity in the economy and this will lead to increased employment and create more opportunities. The second one is accept deposit. Banks are a secure place for those who want to deposit their savings. Banks will give a higher rate of interest to saving account, certificate of deposit and other financial products. It also helps in money management. The retail bank will help to manage money through accounts and cards. It will also help you do transactions online at any place. So now we'll discuss about types of retail banking. So there are three types of retail banking, and first one is community development bank. A community development bank is a commercial bank which provides financial services to low to moderate income people, or you can say the people like us. We visit to this kind of bank for our banking services. Second one is private bank. Private bank are those who provides financial services to high net worth client with high level of income or asset. Private banks will provide personal basis services also. The last one is postal bank, sorry, saving bank. This banking system is for those who don't have an account in bank. So this postal saving bank provides services to those who don't have access to bank, and these banks are safe and convenient to save money, and these are specially designed for the poor section of the society. So what are the products provided by retail banking? First one is current account. A current account is also known as transaction account, and it is available to the account holder at any time on demand and number of times directly. Current account can be accessed many times for money withdrawal, electronic transactions, and usually this account is used by businessmen because they have a lot of transaction in a day. Next is saving account. So this is the account which we carry. Saving account is a deposit account which held at a retail bank which pays a high rate of interest. In saving account, an account holder cannot do transaction frequently as like current account. So next one is debit card. A debit card is also known as the bank card or the check card. It is a plastic card which is used instead of cash, and while making a purchase, one can only make payment if there is any surplus amount in the account. So next one is credit card. A credit card is a payment card, okay, which is used to the account holders who pay off their goods and services in credit. If there is no balance in the account, then also an account holder can transact and pay money to the merchant. An account holder will get a line of credit from the bank. So next one is ATM card. This is a card usually everyone carry nowadays, and this is the card issued by the bank which enable a customer to access ATM to transact deposit, cash withdrawal and obtaining account information also. So next is loans. A loan is the lending of money from an organization, entity, or an individual to another organization, entity, or an individual. There are many types of loan like secured loan, unsecured loan, demand loan, subsidized loan, and concessional loan. And the last one is certificate of deposit. A certificate of deposit is a term deposit issued by the bank, and it has fixed term and fixed rate of interest. So at the end of the maturity period, money will get along with the interest also. Now the advantages of retail banking. So first one is retail deposits are stable and constitute core deposits. Yes, of course, once you deposit the money in the bank, then it is safe and secure from outer threats, and at the end of maturity period you get the principal amount and the interest amount. Second one is they are interest insensitive and less bargaining for additional interest. So first of all we will see interest insensitive. There is nothing like stock market where the value will increase or decrease, due to which the interest rate will also change. Here you get a fixed rate of interest at the maturity period. So, and yes, you really don't have to bargain for the interest. At the end of maturity period, as per your principal amount, you get the interest money also. The third one is they constitute low cost funds for the bank. Cost of fund is how much bank and other financial institute must pay in order to acquire funds. A low cost fund bank will see better returns when the funds are used for low loans to borrow. The next one is effective customer relationship management with the retail customers build a strong base. Yes, these retail banks have a good customer relationship management, and they really create a good relationship with their customer, so that their customer regularly use their services. Now the fifth one is retail banking increases the subsidiary business of the bank. Diverse portfolio due to huge customer base enables bank to reduce their dependence on few borrowers. It can earn profit by providing non-fund based or fee based services. Sixth one is retail banking results in better yield and improved bottom line for a bank. Yes, they are low cost fund for the bank, which give better yield to bank, and with which they improve their bottom line services also. Now the seventh is retail segment is a good avenue for funds development. Yes, of course, retail segment is a good avenue for funds development. Next is customer loans are presumed to be of lower risks and NPA perception. Improves lifestyle and fulfills aspirations of the people through affordable credit, and it provides opportunity for banks to innovate banking products as per the expectation of various classes of the customer. So next point is retail banking helps economic revival of the nation through increased production activity. Again, it improves lifestyle and fulfill aspirations of people through affordable credit. It involves minimum marketing effort in a demand-driven economy. Next is retail banking improves lifestyle and fulfill aspirations of the people through affordable credit. Is by providing banking services at good rate of interest automatically improves the lifestyle. And by providing every type of loan, now people could dream for anything without any investment issue. Innovative product development credit. Now there are many kinds of credit and loan facility provided by the bank. And now we have like car loan, house loan, education loan. So people now can dream for anything, like anything without any investment issue. Retail banking involves minimum marketing effort in a demand-driven economy. Yeah, first of all, we need to know what is demand-driven economy. This means motivated caused by economic demand. So they really have less effort in this demand-driven economy. Now we'll discuss about the disadvantages of retail banking. So first one is you can say designing own a new financial products is very costly and time consuming for the bank. So many a times it is bit difficult for the bank to launch a new product every time in the market, and it requires a lot of time to bring the ideas into execution, and it's not so economical, so it's become difficult and very costly and time consuming. Second one is nowadays people are liking the net banking system, so it is a threat for those banks who readily cannot adopt to new technology, and people's preference towards net banking is increasing day by day. So next is customers are attracted towards other financial products like mutual funds. Investing in share market is always a like for people, besides the loss occurred by them. So after the introduction of mutual fund, people got some relaxation in investing in the share market. So people are now moving towards the mutual fund theory and using less services of the banks. Next is, though banks are investing heavily in technology, they are not able to exploit the same to the full content. As banks are trying to be updated with the technology, still they lack in some way, which create a huge problem among them. A major disadvantage is monitoring and follow-up of huge volume of loan accounts and introducing banks to spend heavily in human resource development. So due to flexibility in loan services, it is difficult for the bank to keep an eye on every loan holder, and by side could contribute towards human resource department. So last one is long-term loans like housing loans, due to its long repayment term in the absence of proper follow-up, can become NPS. Yeah, many a times automatically many loans got converted into non-performing loan due to its long repayment term in the absence. Challenges and opportunity of retail banking in India. First one is retail banking. So retail banking is more competitive than ever. Community banks, credit unions, national banks are all competing for the same customers. Now that pretty much every aspect of banking can be done online, and competitive market are no longer defined by geography, but instead by banking regulations, technology, advertising budgets. Second is wealth management growth and trend. It is advisory is a form of investment management and financial planning that provides solution to a wide array of clients, ranging from affluent to high net worth and ultra high net worth. So third one is demand for cost banking solution. Cost of fund is how much bank and other financial institute must pay in order to acquire funds. Cost of fund, bank will see better returns when the funds are used for loans to borrow. Fourth one is branches versus ATM to increase. So banks barely needs to increase their ATM points. Needs to adopt improved machines, as people have a huge complaint regarding the working system of the ATM. Fifth one is mobile bank and interpretation. Mobile banking and interpretation needs to sync in a proper way so that people could use net banking as convenient as possible, and banks should consider this point as the important point to improve. So the sixth one is CRM and data warehousing. The way data is ordinarily stored is a series of databases. There one of Salesforce automation, one for call center, and so on. The problem with this information is they have limited, if any, inside other database in the company. These norms, instead of offering an integrated 360-degree of customer, that data is spread over several different sources, and it is anything from difficult to impossible to get a complete picture of the customer interaction with the company. Seventh one is generate more fee-based income. So let me give you 3 examples for better understanding. What bank can do for fee-based, to improve fee-based banking. So update your fees. So tell me, when is the last time your bank changed its loan policy or loan fee? Second is rate of document fee. Late rent roll, financial tax return, and alike are a major problem in the banking. Past due fee. While we have a default rate built into our loan document, few banks actually exercise it. Eighth one is importance of SEME segment. It allows for effective accumulation of marketing resources and the maximization of cross and selling opportunity. When a group of customers is sent an email that is specific to their needs, it's easier for the companies to send this customer special offers too. Ninth one is investment banking. It engages in advisory-based financial transactions on behalf of individuals, corporations, and government. And the last one is infrastructure financing. The cost for the provision of capital, both of the capital itself are the services, and for the financing arrangement required. So here you can see there are 6 future enabled skills in digital banking. First one is future communication. The banks should engage customer effectively in the digital era. Digital awareness. Banks should make aware people to use the banking services in more digital way. They should go cashless, or they could use card and carry less cash. Entrepreneurial thinking. Apply agile principle to all aspects of business. Risks and governance in the digital world. Understand and manage risks in the digitized world of financial services. Data-driven decision making. Understand how to apply analytics to decision making and insights and problem solving. Human-centered design. understand how to design products and services from a customer perspective. Here is a graph to make you understand the retail financial services in industry loan in India. So here you can see there is a vast increase in the mortgage loan and the other loan as compared to vehicle loan or credit card loans. You can see there is an increase in 4.6 to 11.4 in mortgage loan and 3.0 to 5.4 in other loans. And you can see that people use less the credit card loans and the vehicle loans, but there is still a increase in the vehicle loan as from 1.1 to 1.9. Thank you for watching the video.